Good morning everyone. Myself Neha Saxena, geography teacher in City International School. Before starting up with my session, I'd like to offer my sincere thanks to Sunita ma'am, our director, who has given us such a wonderful platform where we can share our knowledge and can connect with you all in such a pandemic situation of COVID-19. Hoping you all are at home and are safe. Now, starting up with my session, I am going to deal with precipitation and its forms, and will also like to share with you all the types of rainfall and will be explaining you the types of rainfall. To start up with precipitation, I like you all to tell me what do you know about precipitation. Yes, is everyone here? I like you all to tell me what do you mean by precipitation. If I use this word precipitation, what is the first thing that strikes up your mind? I hope no one is. Yes, I want to know the answer. When I use this word precipitation, what is the first thing that strikes up your mind? Okay, I think no one knows the answer to this. Okay. So I think I have to answer it on my own. What is precipitation? When I use this word precipitation, what is the first thing that strikes up your mind? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when with this word of precipitation? Okay, no one is answering. Okay, let me tell you all, precipitation is any form of water that is reaching the earth's surface or the land from the atmosphere. Now, with any form of water, when I say any form of water, it should be solid or liquid. So, the form of water should be solid or liquid. When we talk about solid, what does solid here means? When anything that is coming down from the atmosphere in solid form, what is it? This answer to you should be knowing. Okay, Archit sir, very good. It's rain, snow, hail. Is it sheet or sleet? Okay, only Archit sir knows the answer that when I talk about solid form, it is snow. It can be hail also. Okay, and when I talk about liquid, when I say something coming from the atmosphere in liquid form, what is it then? What is a liquid form that is coming down from the atmosphere to our earth's surface? Yes, I want to know the answer. What is that liquid form that is coming down to the earth's surface from the atmosphere? I think you should be knowing this because this is very common and we all know this. It is rainfall. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Yes, Sunita ma'am, it's rainfall. Okay. So we'll be discussing about the solid and the liquid form of precipitation. So before starting up my discussion, just want to know, do you all know what triggers up this precipitation or what initiates this process of precipitation? What initiates the process of precipitation in the atmosphere? What is responsible for precipitation? It is a very important process, or it is a very important cycle that we all have learned, and it is there in our science book which we have learned throughout these years. A very important cycle that is responsible for precipitation. It is water cycle. Water cycle initiates or triggers up this precipitation. Now, when we talk about water cycle, we are having four main processes. And what are these processes? Water cycle has four processes in it. What are these processes? These processes are evaporation, condensation, precipitation, collection or percolation. Now, when I'm moving further with my topic, I like to just give a gist of what is water cycle to you all. When we say water cycle, and when we are talking about water cycle, we all know that water cycle has evaporation, condensation, precipitation and collection. So what is evaporation? Very good, Navya. I got the answer. It's evaporation, condensation, precipitation and collection. Very good, Navya. What is now evaporation? When I say this word evaporation, what is evaporating? It is water that is present on the surface of the earth that is evaporating. It is evaporating. Surface water, when we talk about surface water is mainly the water that is in the oceans, in the rivers, in the streams, in the lakes, in the ponds and in the wells. This water, due to sun's heat, it evaporates in the atmosphere. Apart from this surface water, one more addition to it is given by plants. And do you all know how plants are adding to this process? Plants are adding to this process through transpiration. We all know that plants exhale out water vapor through stomata. Now, this water vapor is going in the atmosphere along with the water of the surface. And when it goes in the atmosphere, it starts condensing. When it starts condensing, it starts forming droplets of water. Now, if I ask you about evaporation and condensation process, you all know that this evaporation and condensation process, if we are trying to know about this process, we can do a simple experiment at home by boiling water in a pan, and then we can see the vapor coming out. This is evaporation. And then when we are putting the lid on it, and after 2 or 3 minutes, we can see the droplets of water on the lid. This is condensation. Same way, this condensation is happening in the atmosphere. When these water droplets, when they are in the atmosphere, they tend to get there are gases and there are dust particles in the atmosphere. These water droplets, they tend to condense around them, and they then form clouds. When they form clouds, this is the condensation process. And we all know that clouds are in movement. They are continuously moving, and when they are reaching towards a height where they are further cooled down and they are not able to hold any more moisture or water in them, they burst open. and this burst opening is called precipitation. And this precipitation can either be in the form of water, or it can be in the form of rainfall, or it can be in the form of snow. So after rainfall and snowfall, this precipitation, there is the next step that we all know is collection and percolation. Collection is whatever the water that was lost in the atmosphere through evaporation gets collected again on the surface through precipitation. And not only that, the water that is coming down, it also seeps underground. It also percolates underground as underground water. This is whole process of water cycle. If I try to tell you about water cycle through a diagram, I have this diagram. You all can see here that this is the surface water that is evaporating due to sun's heat. This water is evaporating due to sun's heat, and here also you can see that the plants, they are also helping out in this evaporation process. Now when this water, it moves to the atmosphere, it is made into cloud, it forms cloud. And when this cloud, it moves up towards a height, it is not able to hold any of the moisture now. It tends to shed all the moisture, and this moisture is now added in the surface water and is also added underground through percolation. We all know that soil has pores. Now the water seeps underground through these pores. Now you can see this is evaporation, this is condensation, this is condensation, making of clouds, this is precipitation, and this is collection and percolation. Thank you, Shilpi ma'am, for the comment. Now I think this much is very clear to you all, that it's a water cycle that is initiating up the process of precipitation. Thank you, Amita ma'am. Now we are coming towards the forms of precipitation. As I have asked you earlier also, what are the forms of precipitation? When I ask you what are the forms of precipitation, what forms do you think are there, or what forms are the first that strike up your mind? When I say forms of precipitation, now what are these forms that strike up your mind first? I want to know what are these forms that strike up your mind first when I say forms of precipitation. It is, yes, anyone who wants to answer, what are the various forms of precipitation that strikes up your mind when I say precipitation? Okay, I think no one is willing to answer my question. Okay, I proceed then. The various forms of precipitation. Very good, Navya. It's rain, snow, sleet, hail. And there are more. Okay. Okay, Amita ma'am, it's rain, snow, hail. What else? Do you think only these are the forms of precipitation? Good to see my student answering. Very good, Navya. I am very glad to see the answer from your side. To proceed further, I'd like you all to know that we have 6 main forms of precipitation. And these are rainfall, drizzle, snowfall, glaze, sleet, and hail. I think you all are not aware of 2 forms, that are glaze and drizzle, but these are also a form of precipitation. Okay, now I am going to explain each of the form one by one. Starting up with the first is drizzle. Drizzle and rainfall, they both are same, but there is a difference. Whenever have rainfall, we say raindrops are falling. So whenever we try to know about the difference between drizzle and rainfall, it is the raindrop which we are taking into account, size of the raindrop. In drizzle, the size of the raindrop is less than 0.5 millimeters. The size is always measured in millimeters. Raindrop size is always measured in millimeters. The size in drizzle, raindrop size in drizzle is less than 0.5 millimeters. And when we talk about rainfall, here the raindrops are more than 0.5 millimeters to 6 millimeters in size. This is the main difference between drizzle and and rainfall. So whenever you say it's drizzling outside, so keep this in mind, whether exactly it is drizzling or it's raining. So because we cannot measure the size on our own. Now, talking about rainfall, I told you about the size of the rainfall. Size of the rainfall should be in between 0.5 millimeters to 6 millimeters. It can also go up till 7 millimeters also, and 7.5 millimeters also. And we all know that we have certain device to measure rainfall, and this device is known as rain gauge. Now this rain gauge is measuring rainfall in millimeters or in centimeters. And when we talk about, whenever we are seeing the weather forecast on our TV sets, they are saying this particular area is going to receive light rainfall. This particular area is going to have moderate rainfall. And this area will have heavy rainfall. Now, how do they differentiate between moderate, light and heavy? It is done with the help of the amount of rainfall that particular area is getting, and this is again measured with the same instrument, that is rain gauge. Now, talking about light rainfall, when we talk about light rainfall should be less than 2.5 millimeters. Light rainfall should be 2.5 millimeters. And when we talk about moderate rainfall should be between 2.5 millimeters to 7.5 millimeters. And when we talk about heavy rainfall, it should be more than 7.5 millimeters. And keep this in mind that this amount is measured on hourly basis. We measured it hourly. That is 2.5 millimeters per hour light rainfall, and more than 2.5 2.5 millimeters per hour to 7.5 millimeters per hour is the moderate rainfall. And when we talk about heavy rainfall, it should be more than 7.5 millimeters. Now, I think so difference between rainfall and drizzle is clear, and I can try to clear it with this diagram. You can see this is rainfall. You can see these raindrops. And when I talk about drizzle, this is drizzle. Now, see the difference between rainfall and drizzle. You can see the difference between rainfall and drizzle. See the size of the raindrop. See the size of the raindrop. I think it is now clear. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, that I have made you clear about this concept of drizzle and rainfall. Just see how they are both different. This is rainfall, this is drizzle. And when I take up this part, I can say that this area must be experiencing moderate to heavy rainfall. Just see the amount of rain that is coming and the size of the raindrop. Now, I think so it is clear to you all, difference between rainfall and drizzle. Now, I am moving towards the third form, and you all know that third form, and that is known as snowfall. Now, when we talk about snowfall, it is a kind of precipitation where there is a change in Thank you, Om, for your comment. Thank you so much. Yes, then we have this snowfall. Now, when we talk about snowfall, in snowfall, you will be noticing that there is a direct change from the vapor state to the solid state, and we all know that when there is a direct change, it is known as sublimation. Snowfall is a form of sublimation, and when we talk about snowfall, that means when the water droplets, they are freezing up in the atmosphere, the temperature must be very low. It should be less than freezing point. Not only the temperature in the atmosphere, but also the temperature on the surface of the earth should be low. It should be below freezing point. Then you have snowfall. And when we talk about snowfall, we all know that we experience snowfall in the hilly areas. In the hilly areas, we are experiencing snowfall because here the temperature of the atmosphere is also low, and the temperature of the land is also very less. It is below freezing point. Then only we have the snowfall. And these hilly areas, they experience the snowfall mostly during the winter season. Why? Because the temperature in the atmosphere is also less, and the temperature on the land is also very less. Now, when I talk about snowfall, there is one more form of precipitation that is being confused with snowfall and with sleet. Now, when we talk about sleet, sleet is refreezing of the snow and then it comes down. Now, to explain up the sleet, I like you to know that in sleet, the water droplets, they are changing into snow or ice in the atmosphere itself, because here the temperature is very less, it is below freezing point. But when they are coming down, or when they are coming down towards the land, in the atmosphere itself, the temperature tends to increase. That temperature is slightly increased. So they tend to change their form and they try to become water. They try to change the form into liquid. when they are changing their form into liquid and when they are going to reach the land. Now again on the land the temperature is very less. Temperature is below sub-freezing point. Now what will happen here? The snow, rain droplets, the snow that was going to, you can say that was going to change its form into liquid form, that was changing its liquid form, is again trying to refreeze, is again becoming snow, is again becoming ice. This is known as sleet. And moreover, when you experience snowfall are always in flakes. We say snowflakes. And when we talk about sleet, when we are talking about sleet, it is the translucent, you can say sleet is translucent in nature. And secondly, they are in the form of grains. When you will look at the sleet, it will be like grains. And I can tell you the difference between snowfall. Just see this diagram. You can see this is snowfall because from the atmosphere itself it is coming as ice and it is reaching here, and you can see this ice. And when I talk about sleet, this is sleet. Just see this ice is translucent in nature. You can see it and you will feel it as grains. I think this is clear. When you will try to see the difference between snowfall and sleet. Just see this snow. When we talk about snowfall, you have flakes. These are the flakes, and here you are having grains. Now here what is happening? The snow that is falling down, it is refreezing here. When anything refreezes, it changes into a translucent. It changes into translucent objects. Okay, just see this. Now I think so this is clear. The difference between sleet and snowfall is clear. Now we are moving towards the next form, that is glaze, and most of you must be unaware of glaze. Okay Purvi, very good that you are understanding the concept. Thank you Purvi. Good to see my students answering. Very good Purvi. Now when I talk about glaze, how many of you know about glaze? Do you have any idea about glaze? Thank you ma'am, Sumita ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you Amita ma'am. Thank you so much. You all are trying to boost up my morale. Now, I am asking one question to you all. Do you know about glaze? Do you know about glaze? What kind of precipitation is this? Okay. Now, when I talk about glaze is rainfall or the drizzle. When I am talking about glaze, it is rainfall or drizzle, but see what changes it. It is the land temperature. When the raindrops are going to fall on the ground, on the land, because of sub-freezing temperature on the land, these raindrops, they change themselves into ice and they cover the entire land. So when you talk about glaze, just think they are the raindrops or the drizzle drops, and these are just coming down the land, and when they are touching the land, the temperature of the land surface is below freezing point, which is making them freeze, which is making them change their state, and it becomes glaze. To show you what do I mean about glaze, just see this diagram. Just see this picture. You can see it. They were rain. These droplets were rain droplets, and as soon as they have touched this branch of a tree, temperature of which was below freezing point, they freezed there itself. This is glaze. I hope that now you all know about glaze, you all know about sleet, and you all know about snowfall. Now I am coming towards the fourth type of solid precipitation, and that is hail. Hail, I think so you all are aware of hail. You all have seen hail in your lifetime, and we had it recently. When I ask you about hailstorm or hail, what do you know about hail? Do you have any idea what hail is or hail are? Waiting for your answers. I wish I can get the answers from you all. What do you mean by hail? I think so no one is able to define hail. Okay, let me do it for you all. When I talk about hail, hail is again a solid form of precipitation. Now, how does it happens? Always remember that whenever you are experiencing hailstorm, there should be a thunderstorm nearby. Hailstorm always occur during the time of thunderstorm in the nearby areas. Now, when it is the area is experiencing thunderstorm, there must be creation of cumulonimbus cloud in that area. Now, when we talk about cumulonimbus cloud, these are the clouds that are responsible for, okay, I get the answer. Hail is semi-solid form of water. Semi-solid, I don't think so it is semi-solid, because if it would have been semi-solid, so when it is reaching down the surface of the earth, it should have the temperature of the land is not too low that it will have its shape, but it is very hard. Whenever you try to experience hailstorm, when you take them in your hand, these are very hard. They are not semi-solid. They are not ever semi-solid, and I'll tell you what is the reason behind they not being semi-solid. Now, I was telling you that when we have hailstorm you will always experience when you have thunderstorm nearby. And when you have thunderstorm, there is a creation of cumulonimbus cloud. And these cumulonimbus clouds, they are responsible for bringing rain in. When we have cumulonimbus cloud, they are responsible for bringing rain, and these clouds, when they bring rain, they bring torrential rainfall, and the temperature in the part of a cloud, it goes below freezing point. And when this, okay, Ayushman, I got the answer that you said that it freeze form of water, ice form of water. Okay, very good. It is ice form of water. But what is the difference between snow and hail then? Okay, let me explain it to you. Then I'll come again to this difference between snowfall, hail, sleet and glaze. Now, what happens? The temperature inside this cumulonimbus cloud at a part, it is getting very very low and it reaches towards freezing point. When it reaches towards freezing point, the water droplets, they tend to change into ice. And due to, when you have thunderstorm, there is an upthrust of the air. This air, it pushes up this water molecule that has turned into ice. It pushes up that water molecule. When it pushes up that water molecule, again some water molecule will stick to this snowball that has been formed. Again it will form snow. This way this process will keep on going and keep going and going, and you will have a big lump of ice. And whenever you try to see this hail, and you will, when you cut this, you will see that it has layers. This is because the ice is sticking just at the bottom of the ice that is formed earlier. And when the cloud is no more able to hold this ice no longer, what will happen? It will shed it. And when it will shed, what will happen? They have, because of continuous accumulation of ice, they become so hard that when they reach the ground, it is not going to change with the temperature of the ground, because they are so hard. They are so hard because of the accumulation of ice again and again. There are layers of ice in it. It becomes too hard. So it is not it is not changing with the temperature of the land, and when it reaches the land, it is in a lump. So you have hard lump of ice in hailstorm. And when you experience hailstorm are very dangerous both to life and both to vegetation, because since they are very hard, they are very very dangerous to life and vegetation. So when we talk about these forms of precipitation, I think so you all are now clear about these forms of precipitation. Let me quickly revise with you all what were these forms of precipitation. The very first form which we did was drizzle, and then second was the rainfall, and both of them are the liquid form of precipitation. And when we talk about these liquid form of precipitation, there was a difference of size. In drizzle you have the size 0.5, less than 0.5 mm, but in rainfall you have the size ranging between 0.5 mm to 7 or 6 mm. This was a liquid form of precipitation. And when we have talked about the solid form of precipitation, you had snow, you had sleet, you had glaze, you had hailstorm. Now, what was the difference between four of these solid form of precipitation? Snowfall will occur when the temperature both of the atmosphere and of the ground is below sub-freezing point. Then you will have snowfall, and snowfall mainly occurs in hilly areas. And when I talk in terms of India, where you will experience snowfall, in which area you will be experiencing snowfall? I want you all to answer me. In which area you will be experiencing snowfall in India? If I talk about snowfall, in which area you will experience snowfall? I'm waiting for your answers. I think I'm not getting the answers. It's so easy. The question that I've asked you all, it's so easy. What is, in which place in India we will experience snowfall? I need the answer. Children, you know the answer. In which area we will experience snowfall in India during winter months? And always remember that in India, when we are experiencing snowfall, it is mostly during the winter months, because then the temperature both of land and both of atmosphere goes below sub-freezing point. I am waiting for your answers. Okay, Navya, very good, very good, very good. It is hilly areas in the northern part of India. North hilly areas, very good. Good to see my student answering, and I hope I am doing my job well then. So, it is towards the Himalayan region that we experience snowfall. Very good, Nimisha, very good. Good to see you all answering. Okay, now what was the difference between snowfall, sleet, glaze and hail? I was telling you snowfall, the temperature both of the land and both of the atmosphere will be below sub-freezing point. And when we come towards glaze, glaze will be coming as rain or drizzle, but when it will be reaching towards the ground. Okay, Purvi, very good. You gave the answer, very good. So when I was talking about glaze, glaze is drizzle or the rainfall, and when they reach the ground, the temperature of the ground was below sub-freezing point, where they will cool down and they will freeze, and the whole land will be covered with a sheet of ice. Then when we come towards sleet, sleet is refreezing of ice when it is refreezing of snow when it is coming from the atmosphere. Then we have the hail. Hail is the accumulation of ice during the thunderstorm, and when due to the upthrust it goes up and up, and when the clouds they are not able to hold it anymore, they shed them and they are the hard lump of ice. Okay, Prarabdha, I got your answer. It's northern hilly areas. Good to see my student answering, and I'm very proud of you all. Now, I think so I have made you all clear about the forms of precipitation. I want you to answer me. Are you clear with the forms of precipitation? I want you all to answer me. Are you clear with the forms of precipitation now? Now you all can, I think so, very easily differentiate between drizzle, rainfall, snowfall, sleet, glaze and hail. Will you be able to differentiate between them? Okay, I have forgotten to show you the picture of hailstorm. Now see this. This is hail. Just see the difference between sleet and hail. This is the difference between sleet. Just see. These are opaque. Now what are these? These are translucent. Now just see the difference between glaze. Just see the difference between glaze and snowfall. So you got the difference between this. This is your hailstorm. This is your glaze. And when I talk about the snowfall, this is your snowfall, and this is your. Okay, I have. Sleet at the back. I hope now this much is clear to you all. Now I think so I can move further with my topic, and in a quick way I'll try to explain about the types of rainfall. Now when we were talking about forms of rainfall, we were aware of rain. Ma'am, when is snowy and when is icy? Okay, snowy and icy. See, these are the solid form. When we talk about snow, it is snowfall, and icy can be, it can be glaze, it can be sleet also, and it is between. When we talk about icy, it will be between sleet and glaze. And when we talk about snow, snow will be in flakes. Ice is always in crystal sheets. This is the main difference between snowfall and ice sheets. When you say snow, it should be in flakes. When you say ice, it should be in sheets, crystal clear sheets. I hope Ayushman, you got the answer. And I am very happy to see my children questioning me. I hope Ayushman, you got your answer. Difference between snowy and when is icy. Snowy, just remember that snowy will always be in flakes and icy will be in crystal clear sheets. Snow, you will have snowfall when the temperature of the atmosphere and of the land is below sub-freezing point. But icy, it is not necessary that when you are experiencing icy, the temperature in the atmosphere, it is not necessary that the temperature in the atmosphere should also be less. It can be less, it cannot be less. But the land temperature should be below sub-freezing point. When you are going to experience icy situation, it should be the land temperature should be below sub-freezing point. I hope, Ayushman, you are clear now about snowfall and the snowy situation and the icy situation. Yes, Ayushman, are you clear? Okay, now we are moving further with a form of precipitation, that is rainfall. And we have discussed what was rainfall. It was a liquid form of water that was coming from the atmosphere towards the land. And now when we talk about types of rainfall, we mainly have 3 types of rainfall, and these rainfall can be orographic, convectional and cyclonic or the frontal rainfall. When we talk about the very first part of the, thank you Vikas sir, thank you so much. When we talk about the very first type of rainfall, that is convectional rainfall, we refer to convection currents here. You all must be knowing that how the convection currents are set up in the atmosphere. Now, when we talk about convection currents, in convection currents, what happens? The warm air, it rises up. And there is a vacuum created in the warm air to take up the place which has been evacuated by this warm air. This place that has been emptied by this warm air. And that sets up convection current in the atmosphere. And we experience convectional rainfall because of these convection currents. And when I talk about warm air being lighter, it is rising up. So it should be clear that it should be in the areas where the temperature is very high. Temperature is high. The land temperature should be high. Okay. So now what is happening? The air is being lighter. It is rising up. To take its place, the cold air sinks down. What happens? A convection current is created in the atmosphere that makes that set up a cycle in the atmosphere which causes rainfall. And when we talk about convectional rainfall is experienced mainly in the equatorial region where the temperature is very high, and this convectional rainfall is also known as 4 o'clock rainfall. When we talk in terms of India, in India also we are having convectional rainfall. Okay, when we talk about the entire world, in the world, the equatorial region is the main region that is experiencing the convectional rainfall. Apart from that, equatorial region, the northern hemisphere that is having the maximum amount of land is experiencing convectional rainfall. To make you all clear with this convectional rainfall, I like you all to see this diagram. Now, to explain about convectional rainfall, just see, because of sun's heat, this water gets warmer and lands, and always remember that land gets heated quickly than water. Okay, so what happens? The air from the land will rise up, and the warm air from the water, it will also rise up. When it will rise up, what will happen? The cold air will come down and will sink. And as this warm air, it will rise up, there will be cloud formation, and when these clouds, they will move to a certain distance where they will not be able to pick up more moisture, they will shed all of their moisture. This is your convectional rainfall. Then we are coming towards the second type of rainfall, that is the orographic rainfall. When I am talking about orographic rainfall, orographic rainfall is mainly dealing with the mountains. When we in geography, when we talk about orographic, here we are referring to mountain building. Now in orographic rainfall is also known as the relief rainfall, because there is one relief feature that is responsible for bringing the rain. Now what happens here? The warm air that is rising, that it has picked up the moisture, it is going up, and when it is going up, there is a deflection in the direction because of the winds. The winds try to push these water moisture laden winds. Okay, the winds blowing, or the prevailing winds, they tend to push these moisture laden winds, and what happens, as they are reaching towards a mountain area, now this towards a mountain area, they are trying to move up. These clouds, they are increasing up in the height. Okay, they are moving up with the increase in the height. As they reach to the level where they are not able to hold any more moisture in them, they shed all of the moisture in that part of the mountain, and where they are shedding the moisture, that part is known as the seaward side or the windward side. And by the time these clouds, they are reaching the summit of the mountain, they are almost dry. When they are dry, they try to descend down. When they are descending down, instead of shower, because since they are dry, they are not having any moisture now. Now what they are doing is, they are now picking up the moisture. That is why the leeward side will have no rainfall. To explain you all this orographic rainfall, I have got this diagram. Just ignore this. Now see, because of sun's heat, this warm air, it will rise up, it will pick up moisture from the land and from the ocean, from the sea, and it will start moving. Instead of moving upward, it is being deflected to this direction because of the prevailing winds. Now when it is moving upward, there you have the mountain or the relief here. Now when it is striking up, what is happening? These clouds are being formed, and now these clouds, they are not able, because of increase in height, these clouds are saturated, and they are not able to hold up any more moisture in them. They shed all of the moisture here, and this side will be known as the windward side. Now as they are these clouds, they are reaching here towards the summit, they are almost dry. And when they are dry, they will descend down, and when they are descending down, they are picking up the moisture again. They are not shedding up the moisture, and this side will be known as the leeward side, because it is also known as the rain shadow area, because it will not experience any rainfall. Now in terms of India, when I talk in terms of India, you should be knowing that which part of India is experiencing such kind of rainfall? Do you know which part of India is experiencing such kind of rainfall? When we talk in terms of India, which part of India is experiencing such kind of rainfall? Any answers? I need answers. Which part of India is experiencing such kind of rainfall? It is the Western Ghats that is mainly receiving such kind of rainfall. you will see that the windward side of the Western Ghat, that is facing towards the Arabian Sea, will receive moisture from the southwest monsoon. But as these winds, they will reach towards the other side of the Western Ghats, they are almost dry. That is why in Tamil Nadu you don't have summer rainfall, because the winds, they, by the time they reach Tamil Nadu, they are almost dry. And similarly it is happening in the Himalayan region also. Okay, now we are coming towards the third rainfall, and that is known as the cyclonic rainfall or the frontal rainfall. Now when we talk about cyclonic rainfall, always remember that cyclonic rainfall is caused due to the cyclones. As the word is telling you, it's cyclonic. It is initiated because of cyclones. And when a cyclone is formed, we have the formation of cumulonimbus cloud. And with these cumulonimbus clouds, we have torrential rainfall. And when we have this cumulonimbus cloud, we have the cyclonic rainfall. This cyclonic rainfall is also known as frontal rainfall, because here two fronts, the warm air front and the cold air front, they meet. This was all about the rainfall that I wanted to tell you. Just to show you what is cyclonic rainfall, just ignore the words that are written here. Just see here, the warm air, it rises up. When it rises up, the clouds are formed. When the clouds are, these are the cumulonimbus clouds. When these clouds are formed, what is happening? They are moving towards this side, and what is happening? This area towards this side, and this side will experience lot of rainfall. Now this was all from me now. I hope you all have understood the concept of precipitation, and now you will be able to differentiate between the different forms of precipitation, and you all are now also aware of types of rainfall. Hope you all liked my session, and will look forward for your comments and answer. Thank you. Thanks a lot.